As the frog crosses the river, he could drown, so I'll add that to the frog's behavior. With the arrow tool, I'll select the frog in the world, and I'll drag him up just beneath the river. I'll select the top rule that's in the behavior editor now, and I'll make a new rule just under that. From the frog's point of view, this rule says, if I'm above the river, then I'll play a sound, whip. I'll show a message, I cannot swim. And I'll reload the world. To test this rule, I'll click the green Run button in the toolbar, and I'll use the up arrow key on my keyboard to move the frog onto the water. The frog has drowned, so I'll click OK, and the game is restarted. I'll click the Stop button. Now I want to add some logs in the river, so I'll make a new agent. I'll name it Log, and I'll start with the default inflatable icon. I'll double-click that in the Agents list, and I'll click Clear. With the horizontally and vertically mirror tool still selected, and brown in my color well, I'll use the pencil tool to draw a line straight across. With the paint bucket tool, I'll fill that with brown. I'll choose an orange color. And with the pencil tool, I'll draw an arc. I'll use the plus button in the center to inflate the log. I'm actually going to overinflate it a bit. Then I'll select the magic wand tool, and with that I'll select the brown area. With the camera rotate tool, I'm going to rotate the preview so that I can see the log from the side, so I have a better idea how much to deflate it by clicking the minus button. And I'm going to add a little bit of noise to the log too. Then I'll click Save. I want the logs to be automatically generated in the world by a bridge, just like the trucks were generated by tunnels earlier in the game. So I'll make a bridge agent. I'll start with the default inflatable icon, and then I'll double-click it in the Agents list and clear the 2D editor. I'm still using the horizontally and vertically mirror tool. I'll click in the color well, and I'll select a gray color. With the paint bucket tool, I'll fill the icon. Then I'll click back in the color well and select a black color and click OK. With the pencil tool, I'll draw an arc. And I'll fill the arc with black. I'll press the plus button to overinflate the icon. Then, with the rectangle selection tool, I'll make a vertical selection like this in the center. Now to get an indent in the top of the bridge, I'll use the ceiling slider to push the selected part down. With the magic wand tool, I'll select the black arc, hold the Shift key, and select the other black arc, and then I'll press Delete or Backspace on my keyboard to make openings in the bridge. I'll press Ctrl D on my keyboard, and then I'll use the camera rotation tool to see how my bridge looks. I'll press the Save button to save my bridge. I'll add a couple of bridges to the world with the pencil tool, here and over here. And then I'll save the world with those changes. Next, I'll program a bridge to automatically generate logs. With the arrow tool, I'll select this bridge, and I'll give it the same behavior that I use to make the tunnels generate trucks. From the bridge's point of view, this rule will mean If I see, to my right, river, once every 0.5 seconds, and with a percent chance of 20, then I'll generate, to my right, a new log. Next, I'll add some rules to the logs so that they move to the right and are absorbed by the bridge on the right. I'll select the log agent, and I'll build a rule that from the log's point of view, if I see, to my right, river, once every 0.5 seconds, then I'll move to my right. And then to absorb the log into the bridge, I'll add another rule. If I see, to my right, a bridge, then I'll erase myself. Now I want to test whether the frog could hitch a ride on a floating log on his way to the grotto. I could use the up arrow key on my keyboard to move the frog to the edge of the river, but for testing purposes, I'll just use the black arrow key and drag him there. I'll click the green Run button, and I'll wait for a log to appear on which the frog could hitch a ride. When I press the up arrow key to move the frog onto a log, the log slipped out from under the frog fell into the water and drowned. That isn't the result that I wanted, so I'll click OK, and that resets the game, and I'll click the Stop button.